You don't remember me, but I never stopped loving you. Hey, I know you're scared. And I know right now, none of this makes sense. You're looking at me like I'm a stranger. Like I'm someone you've just met, someone sitting too close, speaking too softly, carrying a love you don't recognize. But I'm not a stranger, love. I'm your husband. We're married. You and me, we've already lived 1,000 moments together. Laughed until we cried on the kitchen floor. Fought over silly things like burnt toast and misplaced socks. Held each other through nights darker than this one. Danced in the rain on a Tuesday because we were too tired to be sad anymore. We built a life together. You wore a white dress, do you remember that? It was raining that day too, just a little. But you said the clouds made everything feel more poetic. You walked toward me like I was the only thing that mattered in the world. And when you said I do, you smiled like forever wasn't long enough. I held your hand through your mother's tears. You held mine when I broke down about losing my job. We made promises not just in front of God or people, but in the quiet places. In shared glances, in whispered dreams. In the way you'd say my name like it was home. You don't remember that, but I do. And I remember the accident too. I remember the sound of the call. The way my heart fell apart before I even knew what the words meant. The hours in the hospital. The silence. The waiting. And finally, the moment you opened your eyes and looked right through me. Like I was no one. I didn't cry then. Not in front of the doctors. Not even when you asked me my name like it didn't belong to you. But I cried that night. On the drive home. In the bed we used to share. Under the weight of your absence in a room still full of your memories. And now, here we are. You, forgetting. Me, remembering enough for both of us. I don't expect this to be easy for you. I won't force anything. But I'll be here every morning, every night, every in-between, reminding you gently, patiently, completely, that I love you, that I married you, that I still wear this ring, because it was never just a promise, it was a vow carved into the way I breathe. You may not remember our wedding, or the way you used to trace circles on my chest when you couldn't sleep, or how you hated mornings until I started making coffee the way you liked, with too much sugar and not enough reason. But I do. And I'm not going anywhere. Not now, not ever. Even if we have to fall in love all over again. Even if I have to introduce myself to you every single day. Even if you never remember our past. I'll spend my life making you fall in love with our future. Because I'm not just holding on to a memory, love. I'm holding on to you. And that is forever. Even if your heart forgets, mine will remember enough for both of us. You know, sometimes I sit beside you when you're asleep and just watch you breathe. I listen to the rhythm of it, slow, calm, peaceful. Because in that rhythm, I hear the echo of the woman I married. The woman who once whispered to me, no matter what happens to us, just don't let me go. And now, you don't remember saying that. But I do. You don't remember how your fingers used to find mine without even looking. How you'd hum under your breath when you were doing laundry. How you'd look at me, really. Look at me like I was your safest place in the world. God, I miss that look. I miss being seen by you. Not just with your eyes, but with your soul. Like I was known, chosen, loved. I keep thinking, maybe this is a test. Maybe life is asking me, do you love her enough to start over? And my answer is still yes. 1,000 times, yes. Even if we have to go slow. Even if you never call me your love again. Even if every day I'm just that man who keeps bringing you tea with the exact amount of honey, because I remember how much your voice used to need it after long talks. I'll wait. I'll wait as long as it takes. Because you're still you. You still furrow your brow when you're trying to remember something. You still look at sunsets like they're speaking to you. You still walk like your heart is heavier than your body, but you carry it anyway, quietly, bravely. And somewhere inside that beautiful, confused mind, I know there's a part of you, maybe small, maybe hidden, that still feels something when I'm near. A flicker, a heartbeat, a whisper. I don't need everything to come back. Not all at once. Just a moment. 1 second where your eyes soften again. Where something familiar flickers through, like the very first time all over again. And if that never happens, if I remain just a stranger with too much hope in his eyes, then I'll still stay. Because you are still the love of my life. Even if your heart forgets, mine will remember enough for both of us. You remembered something, didn't you? Today, when I brought you your tea the same way I always do, you looked at the cup for a little longer than usual. You tilted your head, like something inside you stirred, like a whisper in the back of your mind tried to speak. And then you said it softly, like you weren't even sure why. No sugar, just honey. My heart stopped. You didn't even realize what you had said. You sipped your tea, looked away, distracted, unaware that you just opened a door. But I knew, because that's how you always took it. No sugar, just honey. That was your thing. The tiniest detail, but it was ours. And in that moment, I didn't speak. I didn't smile too wide or scare it away with hope. I just sat there, quiet, still, grateful, because that tiny sentence, that small, passing moment, meant more to me than 1,000 memories. It meant, you're still in there, maybe behind the fear, the confusion, the blank spaces. There's still a piece of you trying to find me again. And I swear to you, with everything I have left, I will wait for that version of you, no matter how long it takes. I will be right here, with steady hands and patient eyes, catching every flicker of recognition, every whispered habit, every moment you feel something you don't yet understand. I won't rush you. I won't push you. I'll just love you gently, fully, endlessly, until your heart remembers that it's always been safe with me. Even if it takes years. Even if you never say my name with certainty again. Even if the only thing that remains is a feeling you can't name. Let it be love. Let it be the love we built. Let it be the echo of all our late night talks and early morning kisses. Let it be the warmth in your chest that doesn't need a memory to exist. Because love like this doesn't vanish. It waits. It forgives. It remembers. Even when you can't. I don't know why, but it feels like home when you say my name. Tonight, I sat by your side again, like every other night. I didn't bring stories. I didn't bring memories. Just silence, and my hand, resting beside yours. I watched the way your eyes moved, searching for something you couldn't name. The way your lips parted like a question was rising but never spoken. I didn't push. I just waited. And then, it happened. You looked at me, really looked. And for the first time in weeks, you didn't look through me. You looked at me. Like your heart tilted towards something it couldn't understand, but deeply felt. And you whispered, I don't know why, but it feels like home when you say my name. I froze, not because you remembered, but because something in you felt it. The truth of us, beneath the layers of forgetting. I couldn't speak. My throat locked with every unshed tear I'd carried since the accident. So I just smiled, reached out slowly, afraid to scare the moment away, and held your hand. And this time, you didn't pull away. Your fingers didn't flinch. They rested in mine like they belonged there. Like some part of you, some quiet, aching part still knew me. And in that single, silent gesture, you told me everything I needed to hear. No memory, no grand revelation, just a hand, a heartbeat, a softness in your eyes. That was enough. Because love doesn't always return with fireworks. Sometimes, It tiptoes back in on broken memories and soft touches. It just says, I feel safe, and that's what you gave me tonight. Hope. You may not remember our vows, but somehow, you're still keeping them. You're still reaching for me in the dark, in the confusion, in the silence. And as long as you do that, I'll be right here, every single day, until one morning you wake up, look at me, and say, I remember. But even if that day never comes, just know this, you'll never have to remember your way back to me, because I will always find you. Indo, even if you never say it again, I already heard it in your silence. Today, you laughed. It was small, quick, soft, but it was real. You were staring out the window, watching the wind move the trees, and you said something about how they looked like they were dancing. And then, you laughed. I've heard that laugh before. In the middle of grocery aisles, at 2 a.m., when I told you bad jokes just to keep you awake during storms. The first time I called you mine. God, I've missed that sound. And when I looked at you, you met my eyes, and held the gaze. Not for long, but long enough. Long enough for something ancient between us to stir. And then, tonight, when I got up to leave, you did something that broke me in the most beautiful way. You said, you don't have to go. Just 5 words. But I'd been dying to hear them since the day the accident took you from me. I stood there, afraid to breathe, and you added barely above a whisper, I feel calm when you're here. That's when I knew. You may not remember the night I held your hair back while you threw up from crying too hard, or the way you fell asleep on my chest mid-sentence, because being close to me always slowed your heartbeat. You may not remember the years, the anniversaries, the stolen kisses on staircases, the fights that left us breathless but never broken. But your body remembers. Your soul remembers. The feeling remembers. And sometimes that's more powerful than any memory. So I stayed. I sat back down, and we just breathed in the same space. 2 hearts trying to speak across silence and time. And in that silence, you didn't say, I love you, but your eyes did. Your quiet did. The way you didn't want me to leave, did. And even if you never say those words again, even if your lips never form the shape of my name with that old familiar warmth, I already heard everything I needed in your silence, because love like ours doesn't depend on perfect memory. It's carved into something deeper, something not even time or trauma or tragedy can erase. And that is the kind of love I would wait 1,000 lifetimes for.